unfold.
Halcyon Fold has begun.
There we go. What a nice sound. Once again here, the battle has begun. Teams are kicking it off. The overlay will just come in a second. No worries about that. So iPooed is playing from the right side to the left side here. The red team at the moment. And Sultans, they are seated 11 seats higher, playing from the left to the right.
Yeah, Sultans going to be starting off pretty standard start, clearing off the double camp. However, it was actually a very aggressive start from the red side, clearing out those two jungle minions closest to the shop on the enemy side before going back into their own jungle. So going to get a little bit of an advantage in terms of total gold gain from the first clear.
Alright, so what we see, Hellbreaker, he starts with a pretty interesting item which is called None. He starts off only with a Halcyon Potion. Did you mention that a second ago? No, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I missed something. Sorry about that. Okay. Interesting. My guess is once he's going to shop, he's going for heavy steel. So that could be the idea. But first of all, he's facing the gank, rocket leaping away and dodging that one.
Yeah, knowing that going up against the Scarf, they actually started with quite a few of those potions. Instead of, normally if you start with an item, you can only have 2. I believe he started with 3 or 4 of them. I didn't actually quite get a chance to see it. But definitely unconventional. But knowing that you're going up against a Scarf who does have a lot of poke potential and that big range advantage over the Jewel, not a terrible idea, because the whole point is you want to be able to stay in lane as long as you can to get those last hits.
Okay, iPooed here versus Hellbreaker on the lane, a melee versus a ranger. Pretty interesting, since Hellbreaker, he didn't start with a Book of Eulogies. But in the meantime, let's jump here to that action going on, or not. Both teams just showing off, maybe a bit of poke, not a lot of health here lost from each, and the gold is also even.
Yeah, let's see Hellbreaker going down to that shop now. See what if it's going to be a weapon power or crystal power Jewel. Looks like it is going to be weapon power, so double weapon power coming out for Sultans here.
Alright, Scarf joining here somehow, or at least positioning himself, able to be ready to join the engage, but now he's going the bottom way, which is the longer way to join, but now he has the good position to use the Spitfire, but there is no energy to use the goop, since we see on the bottom right that he's actually out of energy.
Yeah, the rocket leap there from Jewel only landed onto Arden. Not the target you really want to stun up at this point in the game. Not just because he is a bit tankier and has that O card already finished, but because he also has the ability to just dash out to someone else or give himself a huge shield and movement speed. You're really not going to catch an Arden in the early game especially.
That is definitely true, and Venom and Janissary are just going from the left to the right, now showing up in the middle, but on the same time Emir King and Mr. Crashy joining, or just continuing from their left to their right. So no meet up here after almost 4 minutes. Let's jump back to the lane. Mining has begun. 4 minutes in the game, and both teams are very much aware of the situation that we are fighting for a total of $7,500 US per region here.
And right now, a lot of attention being put on this lane.
There is actually, sorry I missed that one here, the kill. No, we got it slightly, no problem. Well done first blood here from Hellbreaker. That was a good rocket leap, and very late here the follow up from Emir King and Mr. Crashy, just trying to get the gold and the experience from the lane before the turret is going to kill them off.
Yeah, so first blood going over to Sultans, picking that one up at about 4.5 minutes. It is going to be actually still very even in terms of gold, which is kind of surprising considering Jewel actually has 34
Janissary
minutes.
is going to fall here. Sorry to interrupt. Good stuff going on in the bottom. So Emmer King is picking up the first kill for iPooed.
I was actually looking in the lane when that went down. But looks like we're not going to be done here in the bottom.
Yeah, Emmer King using the Vanguard to escape, and nice jump on top, but iPooed is now turning this 2 versus 3, 2 on 2 into a 2 versus 3. So Emmer King most likely to fall here if Venom is going to stay, but no, of course, he has no damage output at that point of the game.
Yeah, Catherine just not really a big, not really known for her damage either. So not really too much that Venom could do there, but it is going to be evened up 1-to-1 in kills.
Actually, I have seen some weird tries playing Catherine in different ways in ranked meta. Let's say it can work, but in the very top meta, in the very high skill tier matches, no way that this is going to work out. iPooed here, standing in that one, receiving the Merciless Pursuit with nope, which is not getting casted from Venom. Just picking up the gold, and let's look at the farm. 32 versus 46, so Hellbreaker, the melee who should have a harder time, is actually here higher NCS. And talking about his first item, I was kind of right, since the Heavy Steel was the first item he went for.
Yeah, the Heavy Steel, along with a bunch of other components, lots of different ways that can be built into. We'll have to see what he decides to go with. But right now, just looking, both teams turning their attention towards the middle of the map for this gold miner, which is very close to being full. And when the gold is this close, that gold miner can be kind of the catalyst that sets everything off.
Yeah. Okay. So that is definitely a hot thing here to capture, a hot objective, digging up for a final of 300 gold per person, and soon to be captured, no question about that, since both teams are even, and in the next 1 or 2 minutes this will change. Venom here face checking that barge onto Emmer King, having full vision. Mr. Crashy going on to Janissary. There comes the wait for it perfectly, and the bounce. Good stuff going on, but he will fall first because Mr. Crashy is now rotating with the ultimate. Good stuff going on, and look at this big red button in the middle of everyone, pushing back here the whole roster of iPooed and iPooed. He tried to apply a last hit onto Hellbreaker, which kind of worked, but now slowed the goop here, and this Spitfire not hitting Gold Miner.
Yeah, the big red button was used in a perfect position, but unfortunately it was after the fight had essentially already been won by iPooed, and it just wasn't able to really turn the tide of the fight completely. It was enough to not to discourage them from continuing the chase and trying to get those last 2 kills, but that was really about it. Gold Miner going over to iPooed as well is going to put them in a gold lead of about 1,500, which you know, as we've just seen in our last couple games, is by far not a safe gold lead. But you know, anytime you're playing Vainglory, you'd much rather have a small gold lead than to be the ones playing from behind.
Most definitely. Emmer King going in here, soaking up the damage, vanguarding out. And that Scout Trap didn't deal any damage. So both teams are very, very aware of the strength of the different team. Especially iPooed have to be aware of Sultans being such a strong team, seeded 10 in a 128 bracket. That is pretty good. Of course, iPooed with seed 21, also not far apart, but a bit lower from the, let's say, statistics from the scratch concerning their combined ELO past event performance, etc.
Yeah, it looks like they're actually going to be going for an aggressive invade here.
Yeah, Emmer King is going for the 33 gold here, the last hit. He just took that one, and yeah, the Scout Trap here dealing damage, and I think if they want to force the fight, they're gonna lose it, and instead Sultan's gonna pick it up, and iPooed's just in the right moment here, showing presence to back up the partners.
It looks like the fight is actually not necessarily over. Everyone is still clumped up right around this middle area. Look at, they're going in. Nope, just backing off. False alarm.
Alright, 10 minutes in the game, only 3 kills. That is not a lot. And Hellbreaker here versus iPooed. He is receiving great damage from yeah, that Scarf, since he's hitting a lot of Spitfires. He's always kind of low on energy. He doesn't, yeah, he has the energy battery now, but he went for the Shadow Glass first. I mean, that is interesting, since we should talk about what he maxed so far. Again, no ultimate here skilled at level 9. Overdriven the Spitfire for maximum damage amount. Some go for or tend for to yeah, overdrive the goop, but if you go that way and don't max the ultimate, then you go that way. But first, Janissary going to fall here. Nice gauntlet, dropped everyone in their 2 versus 3 situation. Well done from iPooed.
Yeah, a big fight victory there, picking up 2 kills. Now turning attention onto the tower, but Jules gonna try and stop this. Don't think she's gonna be able to. In fact, she may be going down here, and they do indeed pick up that kill, and now turn their attention onto the tower. So a little bit trying to be the hero, too much there from Hellbreaker, not working out.
Yeah, Sultans here, well, higher seeded, but lower at, let's say, behind in terms of gold, in terms of kills, and iPooed showing off that the seed number is maybe a number where you have a, let's say, bit of orientation, but doesn't mean anything on the Halcyon Fold when it comes down.
Yeah, Goldmine getting close to paying out once again in favor of iPooed, and they are making a strong case for themselves. They put the minion candy on that Goldmine so that if it does get contested, it's going to be much harder to take.
So let's wait here for the fight to begin, if it is going to begin. I mean, definitely agree here, they have to force it somehow, but I think there is no way that they're gonna pick up the gold miner. Instead, maybe look for the one or the other kill, but even that seems like a problem. Especially iPooed here now getting locked down, and there comes the wait for it. Well done, Vox picking up the kill. What I said, Rona picking up another one. 1-for-1 trade. Emerald King most likely to fall. Goldminer joining the party. He is dealing great damage, and Janissary escaping here. Venom, nice damage reflection. There we go, but falling in the end to Mr. Crashy.
Oh, Janissary gonna try and answer with one, but not able to do it. The healing coming out from that fount of rejuvenation going to keep Emerald King alive, and then the ace coming through, getting him back up to full health. Mr. Crashy, though, I want to point out a very subtle thing. It's tough to see, especially on a melee hero, but amazing stutter stepping as he was chasing through that fight. Like I said, it's so much more difficult to do on a melee hero than it is on a ranged hero, but he did it absolutely perfectly that time.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't forget that. Well, after the gauntlet drop, I will tell you what I wanted to say. Hellbreaker in the meantime going down again, a 2 versus 3 situation. I don't know what happened to Janissary. He is standing in the base, so hopefully not a disconnect or something. Again, 10-2 now here for iPooed, and now he is moving somewhere around that turret, so hopefully nothing wrong here with the connection or so, but since he's joining the lane, should be fine. And let me quickly finish what I wanted to say. Since you are going to stutter step, let's be clear here, you can get an advantage from your auto attacks here, but this is capped at 20%. So if you stutter step right and do this and train it hard, know how to do this, no matter if it's a range or a melee, you can gain up to 20% more in attack speed.
Yeah, and of course it's such a risk-reward mechanic that the top players all have it down. But when you're learning it, the difficulty can be the fact that if you don't do it correctly, you could then actually be attacking significantly slower. If you accidentally cancel it before the damage goes through, then you have to wait for the full animation to finish before you can damage again. So it's very, very risky. Just one slight mistake, a fraction of a second, can be the difference between having 20% increased attack speed or not attacking at all.
Exactly. Alright, there we go. Maybe the next fight incoming. iPooed waiting for the right position. Now I see this, but the Spitfire not hitting. Oh, well, at least the goop on fire. So now the wait for it coming onto iPooed, the target they want to force and lock down. And look at this. big red button. This is not too bad. iPooed here going for the ultimate, trying to burn down the enemy. Everyone is kind of low health, but he don't know how to focus. But look at that save from Arden here.
And this is looking like it's going to lead to a game 1 victory if these fights continue the way they are. A huge lead now in favor of iPooed, 13-2 on kills and 7,000 gold. They're gonna pick up the Kraken as they go send Rhoda into the lane to start getting those minions pushing up towards the turrets.
Wow, what a fight, well done. Especially I was just waiting to cast, yeah, finally he fall or something, but well, Emmer King and that Vanguard, that was definitely a scene to remember.
Yeah, Emmer King hits multiple times. He's been down to a sliver of health, but gets those shields or the Fountain of Rejuvenations. Like every single time he comes so close to falling, but just manages to stay alive and provide the support for his team as they now pick up this minion mine to add to their pushing power as they make their way up towards the lane now.
Yeah, well, totally agree. I think the Fountain of Renewal definitely saved them here from any further losses, and now they can push with the Kraken to the first tower. A lot of action going on here. Everyone is grouped, and they are going for the drop, and a lot of damage now again to Sultans falling as a whole.
And iPooed just being completely untouched on the back lines, while of course Rona and Arden, they're going to be so difficult to kill. You can't focus on those two and try and take them out. You have to try and get onto the back line, onto that Scarf. If they were able to kill Scarf, then you could turn the attention on the other two, but without taking out Scarf, iPooed is just able to absolutely decimate the team, and that is going to be game 1 in favor of iPooed.